attendees.
Yes. Alcohol with diabetes, it can be a dangerous situation if you drink alcohol on an empty stomach. So think about it, when you drink alcohol, it gets processed in the liver, okay? But your liver's job also is to kind of maintain your blood sugars when you're not eating. So if you haven't eaten in a while, your liver's kind of dropping sugar and keeping your blood sugar stable. But if it's busy with the party, it may not be able to spill out the sugar. So you have a chance of having a really bad low blood sugar with alcohol in your breath. And where that's scary is that your friends might think that you're just drunk. Okay? So if someone were to have alcohol, and I'm not condoning it, but it should be not on an empty stomach and with food. And some tips. College can be kind of tricky because there is this peer pressure to drink, and they kind of target the people that don't want to, in certain circumstances. So, I was talking to Lisa about it the other day, and one of her tips is she just held the drink, right? Because you don't get bothered if it, right? So everybody, the parents probably know what I'm talking about. And then you can even pour it out if you don't want to, but to have it. So there you have it with the alcohol question. Anything else you want to know?
I think this is true in high school, actually.
It is, yeah, right.
I think that same kind of peer pressure exists in high school. Do you know anything about weed in school?
It basically just the increase in appetite and loss of all your judgment can cause so much blood sugar.
And so again, it'd be the same dangers, right? You might be low and you don't know you're low.
Yeah. All right. Late nights is the next thing that you can decide whether you want to stay. It's a little challenging. I was on shots in college because there were no such thing as pumps, or they were as big as your body. I think that would have been a little awkward for college. So it gets a little, if you're on shots, the timing of your insulin makes a big deal. So if you're always giving your Lantus at 10 o'clock at night, but you're out with your friends, that might not be the best time to do your Lantus, and you might want to have to switch it around. But something to think about with college. I'm still looking at that. Studying, work. We can go to the next slide. So, but I want it, when you guys are in college, it's all about experiencing different things, and I'm hoping for all of you that's what you get to do. Is when someone says, "Let's do this," you say, "Sure, let's go for it." And the biggest thing is just know what's going on with your diabetes. And I think CGMs, I wish there were CGMs when I was in college, and pumps actually. I think that would have been really nice for me. But for me, it was all about testing. And I had a doctor that said, he never said, you can't do something. He just said, figure it out. Test around it and see what happens to your blood sugar. And I think that was the best advice I ever had, especially in a time of diabetes where it was all about the list of things that I couldn't do. Okay? He never said, don't do this, don't do that. He said, try it. Just test. You don't want to do it blind. If you're not testing, you don't know how much gas is in your gauge. It's like driving without having that little gas gauge in your car. Pretty soon you just run out and, in the middle of the forest. So that's my little plug for testing. I can't see that far. What's the next thing? Carry sugar. Oh, that's a really good one. I'll tell you a story. When I was in college, we went on a hike up in Tahoe, and I had food, and the important word there was had. I had food, I ate it. My friends decided to go up a little bit further, and I stayed back because we had a dog and she couldn't climb. Well, I'll just stay back and hang out with the dog. Sure enough, as soon as they disappeared, what happened? I'm like, oh my gosh, my blood sugar is low. What am I going to do? I didn't know when they were going to get back. I didn't have a thing. I had a banana peel. You guys, it would have been the best skit if there was a television there, because I was like sucking on the banana peel, like there's got to be some sugar in this. At one point I was laying on a log, just like trying not to use any energy. Then I'm like, I gotta find something sweet. I started picking like sap off the tree and tasting it if it was sweet. I started tasting plants. I'm glad I didn't poison myself. I was so desperate for some sugar, so I had to make a really big mistake like that in order to remember you should always carry some sugar. And we had food, it was just with the people that were up the hill. And I wasn't about to go hiking and looking for them. So anyway, when I got back, I tackled them. And long story short, there's experiences that I have had that you may or may not learn from. I hope that all my mistakes that I can tell you about today could prevent those same things from happening to you, but unfortunately, you have to make your own. I know that scares the parents, but kids have to make mistakes in order to learn. And then travel. Travel, I just want to encourage you guys, if you have any opportunity to do that, traveling is, I think, one of the best educations you could have. Oh, this was one of my tips. Don't get a credit card in the quad. I don't know if they still do that, but I did that. I thought it was a really great idea. I thought it was like free money. But I think it's my generation that is causing all the problems right now. It certainly wasn't my parents. They never had credit. But in the quad, and I think there's a law against this now, in the quad you could just get money off this little plastic card. And I was 19 years old and they gave me a credit card with $2,000 on it. And I thought it was a really good idea because I wanted to get a snowboarding pass. And that snowboarding pass that would have cost me $200 actually probably cost me closer to $1,000. Right? So that's my little tip. But I had a great time snowboarding. All right, go ahead. So again, mistakes will happen. The question is, what do you do about it? And don't let yourself get down about things that you might do that might get you into a situation. You just have to figure out, what am I going to do next time? What would be a good thing to do next time? Oh, this is me picking up my roommate in Virginia. It was like 115 degrees and humidity was 1,000,000%. And she lived on the 3rd floor with no elevator, and we had to move her out. So anyway, this little tip was attach diabetes to routine things. And so what I mean by that is, what do you do if you're struggling with testing, or you're struggling with remembering to bolus or give a shot? Attach it with something that you don't forget every day, and it's much easier to remember. Hey Heather, I see her out there. So, what I mean by that, like in the morning, do you typically brush your teeth? Well, hopefully yes. And if that's yes, then maybe you can have the meter right there by your toothbrush, so that it's like, I brush my teeth, I test my blood sugar, and pretty soon it would feel weird if you didn't. See what I'm saying? So, or if you're forgetting your lunch bolus, for some reason, it's been a weird thing for me lately. Like, I get all caught up in lunch, and I go back to work, it's like, I forgot my lunch bolus. So now, what I'm doing is just attaching that with, right after I pay, I give my lunch bolus. So I had to attach it to something because I got too caught up in the chatty and the socializing at lunchtime. So anyway, let's go on to the next thing. Oh, don't wear these pants. That's just my little... I worked at this kiosk at Arden Fair Mall. Did anybody ever see that? We called it the Crazy Pants store. Yeah. It was funny. I don't know.